Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast, your quality assurance consulting team. Quality is our highest priority for your business with one goal, one direction, success. And now here's your host, Charles Luttrell. Good morning, listeners.
Good morning.
Another episode here of the Q.A.C. Team Podcast, and my guest today is Frankie. Frankie, good morning.
Hey, good morning. That was a little premature, huh?
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all
It's
good.
a beautiful morning. It sure is.
There you go.
You got to live every day like that, man. Every day.
It is I'm coming from you live here in Newark, Delaware today. I'm traveling a little bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Delaware. My mother's from Delaware. It's very interesting. But I'm in South
nice.
Florida. South Florida, we got rain and we got sun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great day here today, man. With great weather this morning. Things are looking good. So let's go ahead and get you started here and tell our audience who you are and what you do.
So I'm down in South Florida. My family's from New York. We migrated. We're Italian-American. We migrated, a whole bunch of us. And we ended up in Florida somehow. And I've had my own business for about a decade now. And as an entrepreneur, it's not just all sunshine and rainbows, like they make it look on Instagram. It's a lot of hard work. It's still hard. It's still challenging. It proposes a lot of challenges, but it's also one of the best parts of it. You almost never know what to expect, and you're dealing with new things all the time, and you got to have very thick skin, and it's very, very important that you keep moving forward through it no matter what.
Right.
And when I started the business, I kind of had no idea what I was doing. Obviously, I went to school at FAU. I got my degree in marketing, but they don't teach you, how to run a business, what's really involved.
Yeah.
I don't even know that they teach you fundamentals. They kind of teach you from a corporate franchise point of view, But anyway, marketing, it doesn't even play as much of a role as I thought, in a business. The thing is values and morals and doing it right? You got to have a good product. You got to stand behind your product. And then you got to get it out there, right, and be competitive.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of money learning. You got to have an investor that believes in you. You got to have the money from whether it's a loan from the bank or an investor or whatever it may be. You got to have a backing, and they got to believe in you, and you got to be able to make mistakes. You can't be scared to make mistakes. You got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is it exactly that you do?
So when we started, I opened a dealership very naively thinking that I could just start selling 40, 50 cars a month to banks, and it was easy to get people approved and then to get good credit customers in the door. And, I ended up learning that subprime loans is really the only way to get your feet in when you're a small independent dealer. And that's putting loans on the street for high interest rates to people that don't have good credit, whether they have a repossession, whether they owe Comcast $1,000, whether they don't pay their bill for, their cell phone, and they don't make payments on their prior car. Maybe they co-signed for somebody and the loan went bad. They got repossessed, whatever. They don't have their social. It's hard to get a loan. And you're talking big interest rates and big risk for the lender.
Huge risk, right? Yeah.
Right. Big risk. Yeah. And let me tell you, it's a whole different ballgame. I thought I was going to be selling sports cars. Now I have a budget and I'm selling these low-end vehicles, buyer payer for 26, 27%. And I'm trying to help people at the same time. State maximum is 29%. And, I didn't have a service shop. So I was just buying stuff at the auction and selling it to friends and family at first. And then I realized I got to get some money and we got to put money on the street. It's the only way to get your feet in the door. It's too much competition. It's just these big dealers bully you. The banks only work with certain dealers. It takes a long time to get in with the banks. They charge huge fees. It's a crazy business. It really, the stereotype with car salesmen. They don't have the best. They don't have the best reputation.
Every one of our listeners is going to be like, yes, Frankie, we are there. We understand.
This is something people, will understand and relate to because, come on, you're in Delaware, right? I'm in Florida. You got to have a car. Unless you're in the city, right? You got to have a car. You got to have transportation. So people are dealing with this. And down here in Florida, it's become a whole thing with very misleading, and it's very frustrating for customers because the online pricing is misleading. You see one price online that is with all these special rebates and all this BS you could be approved for, but 99% of people aren't.
Yeah.
So you see 18.9 online, and you get there, and then you realize it's a $30,000 vehicle. They just wasted your whole day.
Wasted your whole day. Yep.
They box you in. They hold your license. They hold it up. So I worked for big dealers like that.
Yeah.
And my father, his name's Frank Marciano. He ran a big company, and he brought them public, and he was the global president for years. It's called Dometic. It was Marine Air Systems when he bought it. They make AC units for yachts, which is a global, worldwide, huge, whole nother deal. But when he brought the company public, he got shares and he cashed out. And I got him to back me and do my own thing because I was so sick of working 12-hour days at dealers and screwing people. And that's what they do. For anybody listening, that's what they do. They box you in. They want the home run on you. They laugh about it. They joke about it. They don't care. They hide problems. They roll back miles. And I know big reputable dealers that roll back miles. I know, things that it's just not morally correct.
Yeah. That's awful.
Right, it's bad. I mean, and it's worse than ever now. And you're talking flood cars. They spray them and try to hide it. And that you're putting someone in a 6-7 year loan. Some kid that's getting their first loan. You put them in a car like that. It's not going to last a quarter of the loan. They're going to overpay for it. It's going to give them constant issues, and they're going to ruin their credit for life because they're not going to be able to stay in it. So, these guys do that without even thinking twice. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, there's some caution I throw at people when I talk to them as well about used vehicles. I said, be very careful when it comes to used vehicles. They're overpriced right now, and they're trying to take it to the cleaners,
Right. It's even worse because we don't. If you don't do it every day, how the hell do you know? They could be hiding a broken, a bad transmission. They put thick oil in. They could be hiding a bad engine, and they just tweaked it so it lasts for the test drive. Then you get home, you don't have a warranty. The car's bad. You just spent 20 grand cash. We do a lot of cash deals. So to get back to like what we do, it took me a long time to find a connection. I ended up finding a connection after all these buyer pay here, subprime loans, and going to people's jobs and trying to hunt people down and people not paying on time, repossessing cars, people living in cars, people taking cars to Mexico, people sleeping and living with family in the car. And, the repo guy's trying to find them in the car. And, it doesn't feel good when you take someone out a car when someone's living in it.
Yeah, right.
It's a tough thing. It's really tough to deal with, and I wanted to get away from that. I hated, that we were doing that and that we had to do that.
Frankie, tell us, why did you decide to be a business owner?
So when you're working for people telling you what to do, man, controlling your life, it gets old and frustrating. And when you feel that you could deliver a product and do something better, you really want to take an opportunity. You don't want to take that opportunity seriously and do everything you can to make it happen. You got to go for it. And when my father, his company became public, he had the funds, and I really pushed him and a couple of his friends. And once I got his friend to go with my business plan and stand behind me, he stood up and did it instead, Yeah. And I don't know if he did that because he didn't want me to make money with his friend or because either way, he lives off that. He lives off the money. We make money. We're partners. But I had to build this fighting him on a lot of things. He has a lot of old school views, and I have a lot of new school views. And, I developed and built it having to fight him a little bit along the way. And, you make mistakes sometimes. And, but when you work your ass off and you get a little bit lucky and you meet a couple connections and you're studying the business, anything that you do, you have to study what's going on around you. What's the competition doing? What works? What doesn't? Try different things, and you got to put in the time and the effort, and you have to work your ass off, and it's the only way you have a chance. And then you have to find like you with your podcast. I see what you do. I see that you have a lot of different things that you do, and you're always working. You're working nonstop, and without that, there's no chance. And then you still need some luck, and then you have to find good people. It's hard to find people right now. It is very hard.
And that's what I was going to mention to you. It's like we talk about, we work hard. We're driven by what we want to do. You're looking at competition, but then also luck plays a part in this. You got to get lucky, and I'm waiting for that luck.
Sometimes it hits you when you least expect it, but you got to be doing the work, because you can't hide from the nature of the system. If you're
Right.
not doing the work and expecting it's just going to happen and things are going to fall into place, that doesn't work that way. You know, you
Yeah.
have to, when I needed a connection for cars, because buying the cars is everything. You have to buy right. If you can't buy cars right, you can't sit on it. You can't make money. You can't try different things. You're buying it and you got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And we use floor plans. So we use the bank's money to buy the car, and they're charging us a fee, and they want curtailments paid every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, of that car. So you got your back up against the wall. And you're always going to have your back up against the wall. When you're working for someone else, they have your back up against the wall while they get to spend time with their family, while they get to be there for their son, while they get to be there. What you need to do is work for someone else, find something you love, get paid to do it. And then if you're not getting paid what you need, do it yourself.
Yeah.
It's that simple, but you got to put the work in. You got to be paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Car buying, that's a whole nother part of car selling, getting the right cars to buy.
It's an art.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
It is an art, and it's very, very difficult. And that's why I say when you're an average person and you're not doing it every day, like me, I don't know nothing about podcasts. I'm just doing what you say, because I know you're a good guy and you're a stand-up guy. You have a good vibe. You have good vibrations. People in the car business, when you're buying a car, and you don't know what you're doing, you're an average person. You got to find someone you can trust. You got to find a dealership that you say, you know what, they're fair. That guy's fair. He's a family guy like me. He gets it. He's going to show me what he paid. He has to make $2,000 a vehicle. We get it. But I know I'm getting a good vehicle at a good going rate from the market, and I'm not being dicked around, and I don't have to go down to Miami. And, you're in Delaware. I don't know if you know about Florida. You got to speak Spanish. Yeah, you got to have 10 Mexicans with you just to have a chance to buy a car. Because that's how it is. And I have, Spanish customers are the best. Spanish people are the best down here. My whole team is Spanish, besides me. My whole team.
Yeah.
They're great people, but you got a lot of different people down here. You got to be equipped and prepared.
Right. So I live in Maryland, and I live pretty close to it's an auto auction. It's pretty big. I think it's one of the biggest in Maryland. And I pick them up. I see them a lot. And there's definitely, you can tell it's definitely an art to going to an auction and buying cars.
Oh my gosh. Everybody's trying to screw the other person. Everybody wants to screw everybody. It's like a Roman orgy. Who can get screwed fastest? It's bad.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds like this is a family thing. It's been something that's been going on for a while. So my next question is going to be, why did you choose this industry? What drove you to car sales?
Well, that's why I go back to passion about something, because you're working so hard, and it's so discouraging when you have a business, especially in the early days, and it's so easy to give up, and it's so many thoughts about quitting and giving up. And if you don't have a passion and love what you do, I love cars, and I love people, and I've always loved cars, and I've always loved people. People energize me. Cars, I love them. They're cool. I originally thought I'd be selling Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Camaros. And I do a little bit of that, but not as much as I wanted to do.
He said, Dad, this is not what I signed up for.
This is not what we agreed upon. Yeah, that conversation has happened. But he earned it. You could Google my father, Frank Marciano. He worked at a company from the ground up. He's an old school American dream type guy. And, I don't take it lightly. I was given an opportunity, and when he backed it, it made sense with the numbers. You got to do the math.
Yeah.
You got to do the math, and you got to do the work, and you got to find a good team you trust. You got to find someone that you like that's good. I think Steve Jobs talks. I watch these motivational guys all the time, and I study guys better than me, smarter than me, who have done what I want to do. And, he says when you get A players, it's a lot of work. But if you could put together some A players, they change your whole life and your whole business, and they love working together.
Yeah. And that's part of it too, right? Being around the right people. I'm learning that, you got to hang around people that you want to be like.
You gotta have people around you that you could see at a higher level than you, that you could see where you want to be, where you want to go. These people, and there's ways to do it. People, I can't do it. I don't know how. There's ways. You go to events, you go to seminars, you go, whatever your industry is, you Google things that are, I think it's Eventbrite. There's an app for this. And you can literally go for free to a lot of these events and a lot of these things and meet with people that are doing the same type of thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
And listen, it's easy. It's not that hard. You got to, it's all about what you're looking for, right?
And time, you put the time in, right? I'm learning that, and it's my second time around with a business. Well, actually, third time around. But you have to understand that you got to put the time in, and that's what I've been doing.
And it's not easy to walk away from people that you've been around your whole life, that
Yeah.
you're used to. And listen, bad habits and bad routines, hanging out with someone smoking weed every night that you've been doing that since you're 13 with, you got to let it go. You got to let that stuff go at some point. That stuff has to stop, because until you're where you want to be, that's not helping you get there. It's holding you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know,
what a great segue into the next question is, so what are some of the challenges that you face, in the everyday, the day to day, and even building up to what you have now, what are some of these challenges?
well, you're going to get challenges and things like, a guy put a car in a container to Mexico and they can't find it. We have GPS trackers in our vehicles. We have over $1 million. No, we have $3.3 million on the street in loans.
Uh-huh.
So there's a whole lot of problems that comes with that. We have a separate bank that we've created, and I have a team that are fighting with insurance companies constantly. You have people totaling vehicles. You have people disappearing with vehicles, people passing away in vehicles. You have people getting impounded. The car's in the impound because it was towed. They got drunk in Miami, and now they're trying to take over ownership of the car and sell it at the auction. You have to hire a lawyer. You have people that buy a vehicle and they don't buy a warranty, and then they go use it for something crazy, and they're not supposed to be doing with it, blow a motor. Now they're suing you. So you have to have lawyers. You have to have cash flow. You have to be prepared to take $150,000 swings on any given day. You
Wow.
could wake up and have to just pay a lawyer and have to pay for 3 cars to get released. And then you have to have the cash to buy new inventory and
Yeah.
turn and burn. You got to get rid of the inventory. You got to buy it. Every day a vehicle sits, it's losing value and it's going up in cost.
Yeah. That,
You know,
some of the things you mentioned, I would have never thought that would be part of what you had to deal with on a day-to-day basis. That's a lot.
And that's just one side. That's just the bank. Now you got employees. Now I got a sales guy who's disappearing in the middle of deals with a drug problem. You got to fire him. You got guys trying to steal. Tell the customer that they're putting less money down than they really are, and then they're pocketing the difference. You have to watch for that stuff, and you have cash coming in as payments. I don't hold cash at the dealership. I move the stuff out right away. We have
Yeah.
armed security there. It's there's a lot of elements to it once you have a bank that does loans and you have vehicles on the street. So we also do
Yeah.
service. You got people that you want to keep in the car, and I want to help her. She's a single mom, 3 kids, can't make her payment. She can make it next month. The car needs work. She doesn't have a warranty. I'll fix the car, split the cost with her, put it on the back of the loan, and make sure she gets refreshed. Maybe I'll drop her interest rate. I try to work with people to keep them in the vehicle, keep them paying, keep them happy and living their life. And these dealers don't do that. A lot of them don't do that. They don't have that personal touch, and that's what we offer with a family dealership. And I think that's what the business is missing. I think that a lot of dealers should do it differently.
You know, you you said it best. It's not what the business is missing; it's what the industry is missing.
Right.
I have never heard of anybody doing what you do, and you should franchise and bring something up here because we definitely could use something like that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I
I
really
never
appreciate
hear
those
right.
kind
I've
words.
never heard of anybody. Oh well, you can't afford to get the car fixed. We'll help you out. I've never heard of that, man.
Right.
My hat's off to you, man. Kudos to you, Frankie.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And it's the truth. And you
That
can
is
see on Google, listen, Google doesn't lie. When you look up our reviews, I have
yeah,
4.8 stars for a reason, because I don't like people leaving with a bad taste in their mouth. I like the right person getting the right vehicle. And I believe, and you asked me, why did I start my own business? In the beginning, it really wasn't even about having my own business. It was about doing something that I love the right way.
yeah,
And, that's the truth, and offering it to people and doing it right. And then I realized I can have something of my own. And I realized what came with all that because I studied it and took it
mhm,
seriously. I was
yeah,
sick of being a loser and just drinking every day and going out and partying and chasing girls. And then you have nothing at the end of the day. I
Yeah.
was sick of it. My son is 6. He was born, listen, I could have a whole nother story about where I was 10 years ago and
Hmm.
where I've come now. And let me tell you, life has a way of coming back around sometimes.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. And you know what? You said it best, right? Because we're in the same position. Because that's why I do what I do. I love podcasting. I love getting your story. I love people hearing your story. And I love doing the other part with the undercover reviews, right? I want to help analyze businesses to help them get the truth out to what they're trying to do with their business. Because there's so much false information out here about businesses that you're trying to battle the truth every day with people, you
You've
know?
got, like you said it, false information about everything.
Yeah.
People are misled in a major way. And what they need is
Yeah.
financial literacy.
Yeah.
And like what you just said, you're very gifted. I could tell you're going to do a lot, man. You have a very bright future. You have something about you that seems determined to be successful, and it seems like you are
I appreciate that. Thank you,
already.
sir.
And yeah, I
Thank you.
appreciate you. You're very good at what you do, and that's why I wanted to do this, and I was excited about it after the first time we spoke. And I appreciate the opportunity. I really do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, and that's one of the reasons why I really wanted this interview is because when we're talking auto group, anything with automotive, what a big, cluster fudge the industry is, because it
It's,
goes from 0 to 1,000 in a split second, man. And no matter who you talk to or where you go,
oh man.
no two people are the same, you
It's
know?
and they should have a class for this in school. I mean, this is a big deal. You go and sign something, you take ownership for something, it's on your credit the rest of your life. And
Yeah.
most people don't even know what that means. They don't know how serious that is. They don't understand how important that is
Yes. And how it can stain your credit report for
for
10 years.
life. You go meet a girl, now you can't get a house.
Yeah.
Now you
Yep.
put yourself, and it's just because of we don't have the knowledge. They don't teach us. They don't tell us about
Right.
this, and
And
they
don't get
really
me
should.
started on the co-signing. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the worst thing. Never anybody listening to this, don't co-sign for anybody ever, 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 unless you're at my dealership and it makes sense.
Yeah. But I tell you, it made sense for me, brother, because I co-signed for my oldest daughter, and she's awesome.
Well,
You
that's
know,
different. Your kids are
that's
sacred.
different.
That's
Yep.
like co-signing for yourself. I would
You
do
got it.
anything for my son. I would do anything, and that's very admirable. And we need
Yeah.
more of that too. We need more parents involved with your kids' life. We need,
Yep.
and I listen. I wish I knew so much more about how to treat people. And listen, if you're in business, treat people the right way and
Yeah.
respect people. You
And
know,
that's why we talk about that's why you do what you do. That's why I do what I do. It's so important that people hear the truth and people get the truth
it
about a
is
business, because I don't care what Yelp says. I don't care what Google says.
right.
It's never the truth, man,
That's right.
until you listen and you hear from someone like you who's running your business, who I could tell right now, I would fly to Miami to buy a car from you because I can just tell that you want to do the right thing.
We
And
just
that's
picked
why
up a
I
guy
do what
from
I do.
Atlanta. Thank you for saying that because we do
Yeah.
that. We do that. We are, yes, we do a lot of it because we have Florida cars. We don't have rust on our stuff and we have transparency because of what you just said.
Mhm.
People trust coming down here. They're not going to waste their time. I'm
Right.
not going to waste your time. Time is money. And we go back to what we just said respect.
Yep.
You have to respect people or everyday people. We're all trying to live life. We all have problems. When you're buying a vehicle, it should be easy.
Yeah.
And
But it
guys like
never is.
you are the one who's getting this information out. So that's why it's so incredible what you're doing, man. And it's so special. And you're going to do
Yeah.
great, amazing things. I could tell for a
Yep.
fact.
Appreciate that. And that leads us to our next question, right? So, you got this business, you're selling cars, you're helping people out. So what are your expectations for, the next year or two for your business? What are you hoping to accomplish and get done?
So last year we grew by 30%. We went from 5.3 million in revenue for the year. The year before, last year we did 7. It's going to be hard to hit that number again. I have a few things that we're doing as far as I want to get rid of the floor plan. I want to use our own money and leverage the property. I paid off the property that was the dealership's on, and that's saving us. We were spending 10, 15,000 a month in rent. At one point, I had 3 locations in Delray Beach. Now I have 1. So I
Mm.
just want to get more efficient all the way around. I have a new program for single moms that we're offering. We have a new program for college students where they don't have the best credit, they're a first-time car buyer, or if it's a second chance auto loan, we give people a second chance if they had a repo, if they bought a vehicle that was no good, that they're because sometimes it's not the person, they just made a mistake and bought the wrong car. And like I said, you have a car that's worth $5,000, you owe 30, it needs 4,000 worth of work. What are you going to do? You've got to get
Yeah.
out of the car. You got no choice, and it's going to be on your credit. And now what? You're going to pay 30% interest
Yeah.
because of that. So I'll take a loan like that and say, listen, I'll charge you 12%.
Yeah.
Let's get the credit built. I'll charge you a good rate, pay it early. It's a shorter term, no 80-month loan for 30%. These people are paying 50 grand for a car that's worth 10.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's
sad.
just sad. And I need to get this message out more, and we're doing more of that. I'm doing it really to help people. One, two, I want to create an app that we're working on that tells people ideally based on their way they live, how much they drive, what they make a month, what kind of car they need, what they can really afford, and give them a plan to level up. It's like a video game. You drive this for 18 months, and this is the rate. This is what you're paying. You can afford it. It won't have problems. You're driving this much. It'll be worth about this at this time. You're going to owe this. Then you get into your next vehicle, and you
Right.
level up. But you do it the right way, and you do it for sure.
Right.
And that's what people need. They need this literacy. They have to understand. And I didn't understand. I made mistakes. I've done it. We all are doing it.
Yeah.
And the dealerships are just laughing, the new dealers, and they don't give a shit.
Yeah, they really don't. Yeah, they really don't.
No, I tell people, listen, when I do deliveries, if you don't like it, send it back. I'll bring it back and I'll bring you something else.
Yeah.
Or I'll give you your money back. I don't care. I don't want you to have a car that you're not happy with. But it has to make sense for us both. Otherwise I'll be here for you next time. I don't force nothing, and we don't have pressure here. There's no pressure.
Right. That's awesome. It really is. You're doing great things, man, and just keep going.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that. Everybody does, no matter where you're at, there's always another obstacle. And it's always, you got to have positive people around you, man, that are bringing you up, that are enjoying life.
Yep.
The right way, enjoying it the right way. Family, time, money, investment, saving, getting better, whatever your higher power is, give it time, give yourself time, and just concentrate on your health. And this is all stuff I've learned over time. And I went through a lot of pain. I've been through a lot. I lost my sister to cancer. I've been in prison before. Yeah, I've been through it, and I'm going through it now. My mother has breast cancer right now. She's still dealing with something. It's always going to be something, but your outlook on life and the people around you, you got to be positive. You got to move forward. You got to keep moving. The future. That's it, man.
Got to keep moving.
I love it, baby. I love it. And we'll do this again sometime. We'll have another topic.
So how do we how do our listeners contact you? How do they reach you?
So I'm online. I'm on Instagram, Frankie Marciano Auto Group. You can see marcianoautogroup.com. That has all of our inventory. I also do pre-orders. I get people things, high-end vehicles, whatever they may need. You could call me 561-926-7515. I have my personal number all over the internet. You could Google us and see our reviews, Marciano Auto Group reviews. It tells you everything there. And you could see people's stories and pictures, and people travel from across the country. I have businesses that I've had guys come out of rehab, change their whole life, get a truck for me. Now they have 10 trucks with a pressure cleaning company, and he's married with kids. I've seen it all. And I help these people. I have a great relationship with a lot of my customers. But if you call me, a guy called me yesterday, my wife crashed her car. I don't have time for this. Get her a Suburban. I want to spend this. We're approved for this. Blah, blah. Done. He knows he doesn't have to worry because I'm not going to send him something bad. If it was bad, I'll take it back.
Right.
And I eat it and I deal with it because I'm not going to let my customer have a bad taste in their mouth. It's not what I do.
Yeah. That's you're speaking volumes, man, for
thank you, brother.
The auto industry, and that's impressive. It really is.
Thank you. And now I have the time to talk to guys like you and do more of this. So I'm gonna, but it takes time. Anybody running a small business, keep going, keep pushing, work your butt off. It pays off overnight. One day you meet somebody, something happens, things start rolling.
Yeah. I'm working on that. I'm working on that because I'm still, I'm trying to get this thing full time. I'm getting there. It's
Hey,
one day
brother,
at a
keep it
time.
going because you have a gift. You have a
Yeah,
gift.
one day at a time.
You have a gift, bro. Keep doing what you're
I
doing.
appreciate that.
And get the
So
truth out there, because the truth, at the end of the day, we need to stick together and we have to talk some truth, because this Instagram and this stuff that people are watching every day is some BS, and they're
exactly.
loading their heads with it.
Yep, you got it. And that's the thing, right? We want people to know the truth, especially about the auto industry, because it's
It's
so
supposed to
much
be
out there.
illegal. Yeah, Charlie. I mean, you're
Yeah.
putting prices. It's illegal.
Yeah.
I went to school for marketing, and they taught us this price changing. What they're doing is not legal. But
Right.
they're being allowed to do it. They're getting away with it, and it makes it hard for the little guy to advertise aggressively and be honest.
Yeah.
It's hard. So what do I do?
Right. Yep.
It's ridiculous. Really, it's really
It
ridiculous.
is.
It's
Yep.
ridiculous. And we're
So
starting to work on that, my man. Thank you for this.
yeah,
I appreciate it. It was a
absolutely.
great talking to you. I
Yeah,
love everything, and I wish you the
absolutely.
best in your family. God bless you guys.
You too, man. So wrapping up here, what's one takeaway you want our listeners to hear from you? Give us one thing.
So I think that treat people the way you want to be treated. Have integrity, even when most of us around don't. And when you don't think you're being noticed for what you're doing, keep doing it. Stay humble and work as hard as you can. Be the best version of yourself. And anybody around you who doesn't appreciate that or respect that, get away from them and
Right.
find somebody who does. Whether it's work, whether it's your spouse, whether it's whoever.
Yeah.
That's the best advice I could give. That's what I would tell myself if I was 18. And don't let nobody tell you what you are and who you are and what's going on with you, no matter what the situation. Only you know. And you got to make decisions with your gut and go for it, man. Don't be scared. Go for it.
Man, such great advice. Frankie, thank you
you.
so much, man, from Marciano Auto Group.
Yes,
You're
sir.
great.
Yes, sir.
Cannot
We're
wait
here.
to meet you.
I can't wait to see you in person, man. When you come down to Florida, you call me, you text me. You can stay with me. We'll grab a bite. I'll show you around. Trust me. Hit me up. I'm not kidding.
So I'm hoping to be in Florida probably around, I'm going to say November, December, maybe January.
It's a great time.
That's the thing. I'm trying to, go with the seasons. I want to get into better weather, get out of this East Coast winter stuff and move around and travel this country and do my podcast, man. That's my goal.
I love it. I love it. And I'm happy to have been a part of it. And I still want to be. And I'm here for you, brother. Anything that you ever need. God bless you.
I appreciate you, man.
Frankie,
thanks again for your time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, brother.
Check me out. God bless you. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at qacteam.com, Facebook and Instagram at qac.team. Thanks for listening.